Narrating.
Hey guys, we're back. This is Fallstreak. I let out an exasperated sigh as I stand before the entrance of the Basia home. As planned, I had brought Kalia and Tristan over to play. However, why are you two hiding down there? The twins had taken refuge under my dress just as I was about to knock on the door. I wasn't particularly fond of the bloated appearance it was giving me. They're trying to get back into their original home. You already made that joke. I shoo the little runts out from under me before proceeding to knock. Even this rowdy duo could be unexpectedly shy at times. From beyond the door, a muffled "they're here" could be heard as the door popped open and a trio of heads poked out. It was the Basia children. Auntie Amine, Linny has a riddle for you. We won't let you through unless you answer correctly. What bird is with you at every meal? It seemed they were in quite high spirits. I don't know, a robin? Finding it too much of a pain to think about, I answered with the first thing that comes to mind. Wah! Alouette crosses her arms in an X shape and makes a strange noise. We got it right on our first try, though. Are we smarter than Auntie? The correct answer is a swallow. Proud they had bested me, the Basia children grinned stupidly in a way that reminded me of their mother. Such cheekiness. If you don't let me in right now, I'll be the one swallowing you. Slowly bringing my face forward, I tower over the three diminutive children. I will devour your souls. Eek! Scary! Auntie's scary! Run! The three children immediately abandon their post, fleeing deeper into the house. As the door swings open, I spot Mallory and Edone at the living room table. Though it was a rare break from work for Edone, he was characteristically rigid at attention, as if ready to move on a moment's notice. You need help seasoning these little munchkins, Amy? Mallory waves to me as her children cower behind her. You might want to consider getting new gatekeepers. Geez, Am, that was a pretty easy riddle, too. Peering up at him, Kalia tugs on Autun's sleeve. Swallow? She tilts her head. A swallow is a birdie. Kneeling down before her, Autun forms a bird with his hands and starts flapping his fingers. Bird, brr. Triss tries to imitate Autun's hand motions, but only succeeds in tangling his fingers up in silly arrangements. To swallow food. Autun points at his throat and gulps. Is the same word as the swallow birdie's name. Autun mimics a bird once again with his hands. However, Kalia makes a distraught face at Autun's simple explanation. No! Don't eat the birdie! Big wet tears begin to roll down her face. To make matters worse, upon seeing his sister crying, Triss immediately starts bawling as well. Ugh, I messed up. Autun slumps to the ground, completing the disastrous scene before me. Ha! It's just one hassle after another between these two little scamps and this scatterbrained hubby. Meanwhile, the Basia family's laughter fills the house as they watch over our zany performance. Today's going to be a long day, isn't it? After our overly colorful entrance settles down, the four adults find ourselves conversing at the table when Triss wanders up to us. Oh, you brought the toy I made with you? In his hands was a mechanical contraption that Autun had finished building yesterday. It looks cute. Does it do something special? Autun nods and turns to Triss. Go ahead and show the others. While it seemed difficult for him to wind up by himself, when Kalia chipped in and they worked together, it was a feasible feat even for the sticky little hands. Upon release, a simple melody begins to flow from the device, causing the Basias to gasp and widen their eyes. Wow, it's playing music? Inspired by UI design, I wager? Or UL, sorry. UI. You're as amazing with your hands as always, Autun. Wait, this tune. I know the song it comes from. Dia folds his arms and furrows his brow. Can I see it, please? Though I expected the twins to act possessively, they handed over to Lynette fairly easily. If only they could learn to share that well with each other. Alouette thinks it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. No way, it's definitely the alphabet song. Mum thinks you children are making a mistake. It sounds like Ba Ba Black Sheep to me. Without a care in the world, Kalia and Triss watch Lynette fiddle with the device as the argument escalates around them. Why don't we ask the original creator? What song did you build the device to, Atun? That's a tough question. I was only thinking of the melody when I made the music box. Sorry, I don't know what song it comes from either. A pensive silence takes hold of the room at Atun's confession. Nobody knew who was right anymore. Was the tune Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the alphabet song, or Ba Ba Black Sheep? The truth is, unexpectedly, the one to break the silence was little Lynette. Everyone's right. It's all the same tune. A wave of commotion spreads through the room at Lynette's claim. Is that really so? Can you prove it, Lenny? Yeah, just listen. Lynette takes a deep breath and begins to sing. Yeah, I'm not gonna torture y'all with my singing, so here you go. She's singing. Weaving in lyrics from all three songs, Lynette sings to the tune of the device without missing a beat. Wow, it's true. Lenny is so amazing. I see. Ito nods gravely, his arms crossed and in poise of an intellectual. Which I'm not, because I can't read. Lynette would know best, since she loves learning new lyrics and singing so much. All of a sudden, though, he stands, rising with such force the chair slams against the ground behind him. That's my little songbird for you! The veins on his temple begin throbbing, like the visceral embodiment of a father's pride. Meanwhile, startled by the sudden loudness, Kalia and Triss dart under my dress as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Don't default to hiding under my dress. I'm wearing pants next time. They're trying to get Ba. I've heard that joke enough times already. Oh, back home again. Okay, I got it. Oh gods, I remember Lenny and Dia used to do that to me all the time. Mum! It's red! Tia's face is all red. It's comfy down there. Getting caught up in the atmosphere, the adults end up playing around with the children for pretty much the whole day. Eventually, though, some god decides to take pity on us, and the rapscallions finally grow tired and start dozing off on the carpet. With the kids out of commission, a moment of peace and quiet finally descends upon the house. Geez, you sure have a lot of energy, Don. Atun fans his face as he settles back into his seat at the dining room table. Even when playing, one must give their all. Work hard, play harder. Your husband knows no chill, Mallory. The children really enjoyed the piggyback rides we gave. Though I bet they would have liked it if Amy pitched in and more. Don't talk to me right now. I don't understand how children have so much energy. I think it's really admirable, though, Idon. Even though your blood does not run through Alouette, you treat her as your own. She's blessed to have such a wholehearted father. While I appreciate your words, Atun, you are mistaken about something. It was not I who accepted Alouette. When I had nothing left in the world, it was she who accepted me. Idon brings his hand to his chest in heartfelt sincerity. Alouette, Mallory, and Amine, it is because of your strength and compassion that I still draw breath here and now. And while Alouette may speak oddly and seem dull at times, she has the biggest heart of any girl in the world. It is I that am blessed to have such a wonderful daughter. The four of us watch warmly over the children's sleeping visages. Alouette's always been an affectionate girl. All the little ones were huddled up against her as they slept. It seemed her head pats were quite popular. You'd never know it by how she acts, but the poor girls had it rough at school. Since she speaks so childishly, she often gets teased. Lynette and Dia are good siblings, though. They always stand up for her like little champs. It was somewhat amusing how differently they all slept. While Kalia and Triss snoozed with spread limbs and open mouths, Lynette and Dia seemed fond of curling into cozy little balls. Then there was Alouette, who slept with her arms wrapped around everyone as if cradling something precious. There's no mistake. If there's something in life worth protecting, it's this. Have I told you, by the way? We're hoping to get a bigger house for ourselves soon. The children are growing bigger so quickly after all, they'll need the space. Is that why you've been working yourself like a mule? Ha ha ha, it's been my dream for a while. We've already saved up quite a bit. Is that so? In that case, why don't you contract my place when the time comes? I'll be sure to put lots of love into it. Hawtoon extends a hand with a big smile. Sounds like a plan. Returning the smile, Idon grasps his hand firmly. Let's look forward to the future together, not as two different families, but as one big family. It was a warm sentiment, where both parties dreamed of a bright future, dripping, overflowing with promise. But for some reason, I couldn't bear to look at it. The future they spoke of. It was simply too bright, too dazzling. After a short chat, Mallory and I step outside to take a stroll at her request. Don't the stars look so pretty tonight, Amy? The sky was indeed quite clear tonight, but the starry sky had never been a sight I've found compelling. It was just like the rest of the world, after all, colorless. Everyone looks up at the same sky, don't they? Even if we look at the same thing, we see different sights. I pull my gaze back down to the earth. That's right, I haven't forgotten. The promise I made to you. The beautiful sky I see. I want to show it to you. I want to look up at that sky together, today, tomorrow, and the day after. I'll make that wish come true. So please, Amy, don't stop looking up. A familiar warmth, Mallory's hand. It takes my chin and lifts my gaze to the heavens. A world full of color. Reflected in Mallory's eyes was a world different from what I saw, one that's always been out of reach. Through living by her side, I had hoped to make that vision mine. But maybe it's already happened. Maybe color has slowly been seeping into my world ever since that day 15 years ago. Mallory, what a cute kitty! Mallory breaks into a jog all of a sudden to catch up to a wandering cat we happen across. Huh. No matter how many times I tell you, it seems you won't break this habit. Mallory was feeding the cat kitchen scraps that she always kept on her person for moments like these. I remember you used to scold me all the time when I did this back then. Of course, food was hardly plentiful enough to be feeding stray animals. I know. It's always been me satisfying my ego. Even if it helps them for the time being, making an animal dependent on others to survive is self-serving. It's the same as wanting to protect something. It's not noble at all. It's greedy and selfish. I want to protect it. Those words are a cloak a weakling hides behind to seem strong. You've always been like that, a crybaby who easily gets lonely, but tries to be strong. Why is that? It's just... I want the people who smiled at me to keep smiling for me. I give pause at Mallory's words. I couldn't see what kind of expression she had, but her silent back seemed somehow different than usual. Amy, remember the garden we used to have back at the orphanage? How we had little parcels of land to care for? The image of a young Mallory singing as she watered her crops revives in my head at her urging. Remember how you could never make yours blossom? Soil quality, water management, and sun exposure. Though I had meticulously accounted for all of those factors, my parcel only ever met middling success. Living things need more than just nourishment to live. Suddenly, the cat recoils and darts off into the night. I was surprised. Mallory was uncannily good with animals. For one to flee from her was unheard of. That's when I noticed. Her trembling outstretched hand. The damp ground before her, wet from raindrops of a clear night sky. I don't understand. It's peaceful. So very peaceful. Yet for some reason, that scares me. I'm happy, but I'm scared. I'm satisfied with so little, but at the same time, I want more. I want these peaceful days to keep going on. It's the same for me. These hands of mine are holding it, the soft warmth that is this peacefulness. Yet I don't know what to do with it. It was something new to us. In our struggle to survive day to day, we had only been able to look at what was right in front of us. For much of our lives, that was the only way we knew how to live. But that's no longer the case. Human beings are frighteningly adaptable creatures. There are times when we adapt so well it dissociates us, confounds us. It's strange. I can't stop trembling. I watch on as Mallory lowers her head and hugs her knees. I never imagined happiness would feel this fragile. I'm so terrified of losing it, just the mere thought paralyzes me. Well, I suppose we know why the cat ran away, Miss Sunshine. Mallory goes silent. Then, without warning, she begins to laugh. Ha 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 ha! A mirthful laugh, bleeding away the anxiety. That's the second joke I've ever heard you make. I never knew how much I needed a wisecracking Amy in my life. Oh, you're so cute. She hops over to me and begins squeezing my cheeks. Not again. Hey, Amy. What? What is it now? Thanks for cheering me up. Leaning in close, she kisses me on the cheek. You're not welcome. Are you blushing? I think you're blushing. It's dark, you're imagining things. My dear Amy can't be this cute. Shush you. With a spring in her step, the two of us make our way back home. As I listen to her hum with a bright smile on her face, that was very much not a hum, it's like, okay, I gaze up at the sky above. It was a tiny feeling, a little tugging at the corner of my heart. But, for a fleeting second, I thought it looked beautiful. I can't see the same world Mallory does, I might never be able to see it. But even then, it's fine. So long as I have her by my side. She'll see enough color for the both of us. Thank you for coming today, Mrs. Larah. I know it'll be a while until Kalia and Tristan leave daycare and formally enter preschool, but there's a lot of logistical things with the new education system that I'd like to get out of the way. It's fine, Tris seems to be enjoying himself anyway. The young school teacher looks back into the classroom where Tris was timidly playing with the other children. Did you bring his sister with you, by the way? My husband was supposed to bring her. Knowing him, though, he's probably conveniently lost. He's not very fond of paperwork. Haha, I'm not sure I know anyone who is. I'm sure Kalia is just as cute as Tristan, though. I look forward to teaching them. The woman's earnest smile makes me falter. I wasn't good at dealing with people that could be so open-hearted with someone they had just met. Somehow I understood, though. This woman would be a fine person to leave the little ones with. However, when I opened my mouth to voice something to the effect something cuts me off. For a split second, the world goes deathly quiet. My body lurches off balance as the ground below violently shakes. Instinctively tumbling to the side, I brace myself against the wall as strobes of light and shrill whistling fill the air. The rumbling rattles deep into my bones as I attempt to weather the storm. After what seems like an eternity, it slowly tapers off. Good, because that was hard to read. Heat, the crackling of flames. Those are the first things I notice when the assault of my senses subsides. Blinking several times, I confirm my vision is still functioning. Pinned to the ground beneath a mountain of flaming debris, the young schoolteacher groans. There was something odd about the fire. The way it shifted was nauseating. The children. Smoke and panicked voices were leaping from the classroom Tris was in. Shaking off my disorientation, I grab the doorknob and try to force it open. But it doesn't budge. Even when I step back and throw my entire body weight against it, I make no headway. The door was too badly mangled. 2 doors down, storeroom, knock, knock. A fountain of blood spills from her mouth. There's an axe. The unusual fire had spread onto her legs, but she doesn't seem to notice as the flames etch bizarre patterns into her exposed flesh. Her spine must have been utterly crushed if she couldn't feel it. 2 doors down. Heeding her instructions, I dash down the hallway and barge into the storeroom. From each of the classrooms I pass, a certain type of voice that splattered my past was leaking. It was a type of voice I was woefully familiar with. That of human anguish. Clamping down on myself, I kill my thoughts. Right now, Tris's safety was my priority. I didn't need to think about anything else. Snatching an emergency axe up from the corner, I race back to the classroom. Hurry. Even as her own life bleeds away, the trapped woman urges me. Aiming slightly offset of the doorknob, I bring down the axe. The door splits under the impact. I drive my heel into it, causing it to give and separate from its frame at last. Masking my face with my handkerchief, I lower myself into a crawl and enter the smoking room. Several small corpses were spread along the floor near the door, having perished from asphyxiation. "Triss, where are you?" My muffled shout rings out amidst the din of fire. Braving the searing heat, I push deeper into the room, even as the lack of oxygen and smoke press down on me. A series of barely audible thuds. I pivot to find a little figure lying on the ground. "Triss!" His leg was trapped under a wooden beam. Rushing over to him, I position the neck of the axe beneath the debris and pry it up so he can pull free. Though he tries to stand, I immediately press the handkerchief to his face and push him low to the ground as I lead him out. Him getting stuck was a stroke of luck. His peers had likely suffocated trying to escape in the smoke, while his entrapment forced him to stay immobilized and low to the ground. Though he was limping slightly, it was minor compared to how he could have ended up. Upon exiting the classroom, I find the injured schoolteacher looking up at me. Her eyes focus weakly on me, but it didn't seem like she had the strength to say anything. Down the hallway, the sound of crashing rings out as the burning ceiling begins to collapse. There was no time. She couldn't be saved. The old me would have left her behind without batting an eyelid. But maybe something had changed in me over the years. "You've done enough." Kneeling before her, I gently ease her eyes shut. "Rest now." A faint smile graces her features as tears squeeze out from behind her eyelids. The least I could do was end her suffering. Without looking back, I race down the hall with Triss in one arm and the axe in the other. I fly down the stairs only to find the door to the first floor shut. Rather than reach for the doorknob, though, I press the back of my hand against the wood. Hot. I instinctively jerk away. This way was no good. Doubling back, I eye a window on the staircase. It was a fair distance off the ground, but it would have to do. Using the knob of the axe to clear away the glass, I wedge the blade into the wood. Then I grip the handle and lean outside. As I do, the head hooks onto the window frame, acting as a fulcrum that swings me back toward the wall. Holding Triss close, I stretch down as far as I can before letting go. Though the maneuver shaves off some of the fall, the force of the drop still causes me to sink to my knees. What is this? Window frame, acting as a false stretch down as far as I can. It seems you won't break in before.
Thanks for watching!